What you see behind me is an off-road van kitted out by a company called Field Vans. And what we want to find out in this video is talking to the people that build these vans, which chassis is the best. Should you get a Sprinter, a Transit, or an old school Ford? The Sprinter is a very popular chassis for building out these types of adventuring vans, but we want to talk to Jonathan here with Field Van to find out what are some of the major differences between some of the chassis. When should you get a certain model versus the other? So how's it going, Jonathan?
Good, how are you today?
Doing pretty well. So walk us through this build a little bit. So what is it that you guys do, and then what kinds of use cases and everything make you dictate what kind of chassis somebody should go with?
Yeah, when you started saying what's the best, that made me nervous because there's not necessarily a best. There's something that's best for everyone.
Right.
And the Sprinter here, I know you got to experience some of this on a recent road trip. It has a factory 4-wheel drive. It has a high-low range. It does have a factory 4-inch lift as well, so good clearance. We do a wheel and tire upgrade. We do running boards, and of course we do the full interiors on these and make them really comfortable for camping. These come with the diesel motor, so a lot of people like that diesel fuel economy, and the comfort of the Mercedes is really nice. They have the new safety technology, the adaptive cruise control, super nice media, navigation, all that is really nice. So a lot of people are happy with that Mercedes.
The interiors on these are actually impressively nice. Here, we can hop up and we can check it out. You can see this new current generation of the Mercedes has a really nice dash layout. It looks a lot like some of their passenger cars, so more luxurious than they were in the past. And then of course there's lots of companies out there that are building out these vans. Field, what they do is basically you can tell them what you're planning to do with it, if you want a bathroom or not, how many people you want to carry, and they'll build it out any way that you want. Of course, this one has a pop-up tent here at the top and a soft mattress. But of course, the Sprinter is not the only platform. There's also the Transit, right?
That's right. We work on the Ford Transit as well.
So here's a Ford Transit. This is a very different chassis and a very different interior layout on this one. So tell me some of the differences between the Transit and the Sprinter. Do you notice much of a difference in off-road capability, the all-wheel drive systems?
Yeah, there is a bit of a difference. So yeah, we mentioned on the Mercedes the high-low range 4x4, and now we're with the Ford Transit that has the all-wheel drive system. So this is always working. The four-wheel drive on the Sprinter is selectable. So you can go to high range, you can go to low range, or just be in rear wheel drive.
Right.
In the all-wheel drive, it's always working. So no matter what conditions you encounter, it's ready to go. It doesn't have quite the capabilities of a true 4x4 system if you're doing more of the challenging off-road, I don't want to say rock crawling, but more challenging trails off-road, where this is going to perfectly handle the snow, the dirt roads, and some of the basic off-road trails that you encounter.
And then I would imagine, is starting price on the Transit less than the Sprinter?
A little bit, and it all kind of depends on how you option it out. So you can get all the electronic upgrades on the Sprinter. You can do the same on the Ford. So they now have the adaptive cruise control and their sync system and Apple CarPlay and all that good stuff that that technology that we all like. And it's very reliable. It has a gas motor, so the diesel on the Sprinter, and we have the gas motor. It's the EcoBoost. It's the one that they put in all the F-150s.
Right.
It's a 6-cylinder turbo, super reliable, quiet. So it really just depends on what people are looking for, but they're both really nice options.
So what would you say are the biggest advantages of the Transit? Are there any major differences in towing capability? What would it be besides off-roading that sets this apart?
So yeah, a little more towing. Well, it kind of just depends on the chassis you go with, whether it be the 150, 250, 350, or 2500 or 3500 on the Sprinter. If you want to go overseas or maybe go to Mexico, we sell to a lot of people that go down to Baja. You don't want the diesel motor, you want the gas motor for the ultra-low sulfur issues that they have in the diesel on a lot of places outside the US and Canada. It could be serviceability. You might have a Ford dealer in your backyard. Most people do. Not everyone has a Mercedes dealer right around the corner. So when you want to go in and have service or warranty work done, sometimes location can be a factor. And some people are just Ford guys, right? And some people are Chevy, and some people are Mercedes, and
definitely
people have their loyalties.
Now let's step into the interior a little bit, because this just demonstrates how different van setups are. I mean, this is a completely different layout from what you get in that Sprinter. Do you guys do any of the roof pop-outs on the Transits?
We do. Yeah, we do the pop-ups on the Transit. This one was designed more like a full motorhome. So it's got your cooktop, sink, Right behind you is our shower bathroom. And then we have, a big seating area in the back with the table, and that all converts into a bed. So this is a great kind of two-person cruiser if you really wanted to travel and not have to be in a big motorhome or towing a trailer. But all the amenities, of course, refrigerators over here, microwave overhead. So, all the things that you'd find in a Class A motorhome or a big travel trailer, but it fits in a normal parking spot. This is only 19 and a half feet long.
Yeah, which is not too bad. And I would say one difference that I can just see visually is that this is a little bit more of a commercial looking interior than what you would find on the Sprinter. But again, I mean, most of your time hopefully is going to be back here instead. But there's also a third option, so let's check out a Classic.
All right, let's take a look.
Finally, we have this, which is a more unique build to field vans. So basically, what you guys do is you buy a chassis cab, you four-wheel drive swap it, and then you build out the back end, right?
That's right, yeah. Ford no longer makes the Econoline van, and we fell in love with the Econoline back in the day, doing the pop-up tops and converting them to four-wheel drive, because Ford doesn't offer a factory 4x4 on their vans.
And then I can see here, so is this the line where the factory cab ends and you guys build out the back half?
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's where the fiberglass body starts. It's all steel reinforced. We have factory doors actually that go on there. We wanted to keep a lot of the body lines and the look the same. Give a little more interior space, but not make it too big that it couldn't handle the tight trails.
And then an advantage of this platform, once it's four-wheel drive swapped and lifted the way that it is, would you say this is the most off-road capable of the three?
That's right. When someone comes in the shop and say, okay, I need the most off-road capable RV you offer, we immediately go to the Classic. It's got a Dynatrac Pro Rock 60 axle. It's got an Atlas twin stick transfer case, Atlas 2. Fox suspension. We design all the springs with local manufacturers. It's got all the hardcore off-road components that you would see in the Jeeps and the Broncos and all that kind of stuff out there. And it has the clearance, it has more clearance. We do locking diffs, so we got ARB, locking diff, all that stuff that really makes it more off-road capable. Where this differs from the other chassis is a little bit in fuel economy and a little bit in the comfort and creature comforts. It's a smaller interior. It's not as tall of a van, so a little tighter as far as your storage, your stand-up height. It rides a little more like a truck than the newer European style vans, like the Transit and the Sprinter. But it has the badass factor, that's for sure.
And one advantage of having the lower roof is that every time we've ever gone off-road in a Sprinter, you're always watching out for trees. I mean, they're tall vehicles even before you get the lifted suspension. So if you want to fit down a tighter trail, at least height-wise, this is going to be a lot easier. And I can see what you mean on the interior. Of course, without this pop-up up, it would be hard, or, well, not hard, but you wouldn't really be able to stand up in here. But with this pop-up in place, the way it's going to be when you're actually parked and doing your thing, yeah, there's no problem standing up. And then this bed drops down when you want to use it?
That's right, yeah, the bed lowers down at night, and so you have sleeping for two up there, then this will lower down, and then you have a huge bed. This is for our tall guys, 81-inch bed down here. So sleep two more down here, plenty of storage along the side. This has been our most popular layout over the decades, is this interior. A lot of open space where you are, tons of storage, bulk storage behind here, sleeping for four, comfortable beds, so it's tough to beat this interior. And all the interiors are kind of interchangeable between the chassis.
Right, yeah, so you can spec it out however you want to set it up. But I like this setup because this is a little bit more minimalist. I'd say this would be easier to get to those really remote locations, do a bit more off-roading. It seems like it would be less top-heavy. So pricing-wise, Transit versus the Sprinter versus this, where are we at?
So we just looked at that Sprinter, and its sticker's a little over $150K. The Transit that we looked at was $150K. The Sprinter was closer to $180K, the way that one was outfitted. Of course, it had the extra pop top, which adds some cost. This one's about $250K.
Okay.
The extra 4x4, the addition of the body, it's just so much extra labor, all the custom components, so totally different beast.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, it's kind of a bespoke option because the whole back half of the van is built out, but this is a little bit less of like a motorhome type setup and seems like more of an off-roader.
Yeah, it's more of a camper.
What do we have around the back here?
Cool. We have storage, of course, on the back. We got our bumpers. There's storage on the outside of the bumper, storage in the bumper. You can never have too much storage, right? And then we even drop more storage down here. There's even a lower compartment. This is where you keep your tools and some of that stuff you don't necessarily get to all the time, but you want to have with you in case something goes wrong. Big storage space down here. All our lithium batteries are in this cabinet. Our water tanks are all inside. It's a true 4-season camper. Then we got our stereo system, exterior shower here. So this still does have a bathroom shower. It's got a porta potty that slides out, and then a curtain can set up out here, and you have your outside shower. It's a really killer layout.
Awesome. Well, thank you for walking us through. Oh, and actually, before we wrap up, real quick, so this chassis has the 7.3 Godzilla engine in it, right?
Yeah.
So I would imagine in terms of towing, this is going to be the most?
That's right. That's the other thing we forgot to touch on, tow capacity. This will have the highest tow capacity. They're rated at up to 10,000 pounds. It depends on the combined vehicle weight, what you do on the inside, but 10,000 versus maybe 7,500 max on the other two chassis. A lot of those guys stick around 5,000 on like the Sprinters and Transits.
Nice. Well, there you go. There is a thorough walkthrough of some of the differences between these different chassis that you can build out into vans from an expert who has messed with all of them. So, Jonathan, thank you for giving me some of your time.
Thanks,
and be sure to check out Field Vans if you want a cool rig.
All right. Thank you.